Hey guys, Be Good Burb here. Today, I'm finally doing a video that I've been procrastinating for a while now. I've been thinking about doing this for about a month or two, and here we are. I'm going to be seeing if you can beat the battle bricks without bricks. Or more so how far you can get into the battle bricks, because the game as of right now doesn't really have a defined ending. Anyways, it's going to be part one of many, and not really sure as of right now, so if you want to see the rest of them, subscribe and you can join my Discord for some leaks of future videos. Usually I don't plug, but, you know, the Battle Bricks videos usually do well, so I'm capitalizing on it. So anyways, what are the rules for this challenge? Well, it's pretty simple. I'm not allowed to use bricks to buy units, cards, cannons, or banks. Double XP timers are fair game because all they do is help me actually be able to get this video on time. They're not really helping me beat levels. That's pretty much about it. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that means for a lot of the run, we're only going to have access to 8 units, which means that we're not going to have any loadout variation aside from alternate forms. Also, we are stuck with default bank and cannon, meaning we have even less customability. I'm thinking that some levels are probably going to be really difficult with this in mind, but with that out of the way, on to the challenge itself. I booted up my alt account so I'd have a fresh start, and immediately run into an issue. You see, for this challenge I had in mind for a while, I decided to beat Rake Force's raking time on this account so that I would have the friend unit access to me. It doesn't cost any bricks, so it'd be fair game for this challenge. But the issue is, I forgot that on this account, I had already gone far into the game because I wanted to use this for my Chapter 3 videos, and, you know, that didn't end up working out. Since that plan didn't work out, I decided to go to my other alt account, which has no progress aside from some daily rewards claimed for some reason. And we start going through the first 10 levels, which is basically the same as any other playthrough. So I'll use this time to explain the game and the units we have to those who haven't seen this game before. The Battle Bricks is a tower defense game inspired by the Battle Cats. You send out little guys and they attack other guys. You have to upgrade your bank to be able to afford said guys. And you try to destroy the enemy's base. Pretty simple rundown. You can find out the rest along the way. During these 10 levels, we unlock 5 units that we can buy with EXP, which is our only source of currency we're going to be allowed to use for this run. The first unit we're allowed to use is the first one we unlock, being Battler. He's very cheap and great for taking hits for other units. His spam ability means that we're going to be able to use him to easily protect other units. But that's pretty much it to him, but he doesn't need to be anymore. Next is Trowel. Similar to Battler, he's very cheap, decently spammable, but his real defensive value comes from these walls that he spawns. They have decently high HP and are immune to effects, so that means you can't like knock him back or burn him. And he can spawn multiple if he survives for long enough, but for right now, he's not really that useful considering the walls take up our unit limit, and that's very low right now considering we're in early game. Sword Battler is next. He's going to be our main unit that we're used for a while. Very cheap, he's fast, he has high DPS, and high HP. The only downside is he's melee, which means after a little bit he's going to fall off. Slinger is not very good for right now. His short range means that he can easily be hit by stuff like splash damage, and, you know, as soon as something starts pushing past our front line, this thing's going to be the first to die. As well as DPS is just outclassed by Baller Battler, which is our next unit and also the last unit that we have for right now. So, decently ranged range unit that also has balls that knock back enemies and do pretty decent damage. He's basically going to be our main reliability for a while, considering that, you know, don't really have many other options for range damage. Basically, I just spam sword for these first 10 levels. Level 10 is a boss. And what do I do for that? Spam more swords. And also, you know, place a few Baller Battlers, but that's besides the point. Paint Master basically just goes down as soon as you're able to get up to him. And we got Paint Baller Battler, which is our first unit that costs bricks, so we don't really care. I don't even have him on my main save. Next level, they just spam Battler at you over and over again, but because Sword has high enough DPS to just kind of shred through them, it doesn't really matter. And our next issues are the Coil units. I thought they would be rough, but it turns out they're pretty simple. All of these enemies have a specific gimmick. Speed Battler is very fast, attacks quickly, moves quickly, you know. Regen Battler regains health over time at the cost of not being able to attack, and Gravity Battler is able to jump and evade attacks and to splash knockback when he lands. Basically all of them can be hard countered by Sword. Can you tell that the Sword has been carrying the run? We get these Coil units, but they're bricks, so nobody cares. The next level, they put all of them together and flex their superior cannon that we won't be able to have, being Gatling. But it's not enough to stop their Sword rampage. You get Crip, another brick unit, but nobody really cares about him ever since he fell off after Royal Flush. This level, we finally get a new unit, being Rocket Battler. It's pretty similar to Baller Battler, being that it's decently ranged and does decent damage, but trades off his knockback for splash damage, but it's also more costly. And that's pretty much it. The level that gives us him is very easy because you have a lot of time to set up economy because the map's so long. But next is the level Bomb Rush. I thought this would be hard because they spam Speed Battler and the new unit Bomb Battler, which is self-destructing and can pretty much one-shot your base. But Sword Battler can easily tear through the speeds and kill the bomb before it can detonate. Speaking of Bomb Battler, we get that from this level. It's a unit that does heavy damage AoE, but needs some time to charge the bomb. And I don't buy him right now, but he'll be really good later on. A few not so notable levels later, we reached the second boss, being Jet Rock. It wasn't too much of an issue. His massive splash damage was annoying, and the throwing the grenades hurt our backline a lot, but we pushed through, managing to defeat him and granting us another brick unit we can't use. Awesome. About now, I should mention that while EXP can be used to buy units, we're also using them to upgrade our units and upgrade our base, being that we can get more economy, get better unit recharge, get better unit limit, stuff like that. Anyways, on to the next level. We have Hammer Battler as the new unit that shows up here. He's a melee splash damage unit with defense, meaning a certain amount of damage is taken away from our attacks. So high damage units are better here. Next we have Grenade Battler being used by the enemies. They like destroying your backline, so have fun pushing. Next level, I remember that I have level 10 Sword, so I can use his alternate, Dragon Battler. For our purposes, it's not that good. The slower fire rate means that we can't push as well, and the higher range means that the strong enemies get that little bit closer to you. So I swapped back to Sword after the level. After a few other levels, we reached the level called Tank, which is usually a really difficult level, but they nerfed it, removing the regen battler that used to be here. This level is simply a matter of building up a backline to deal with the new enemy Titan Battler. Speaking of, let's talk about him since we get him from this level. Titan is a very high HP, high damage unit, with a slow recharge and slow walk speed, as well as a slow fire rate. He's the most expensive unit we'll have at $1,000, but he's basically just a big guy protecting our other units and taking care of hordes of enemies with his splash damage. Anyways, so for the enemies we handle him by stalling him with smaller units like Battler and Sword, and letting our backliners like Rocket and Baller take care of the damage on him. Next level is pretty easy, it's just like the grenade introduction level, but they add 2 more units. Next level is called Special Stage. Yep, these are all the units that we don't have. This level is pretty easy because their only source of good damage is Speed Battler and Hammer Battler, both of which can be easily taken down. Next stage's name has never been more accurate. I mean, we truly are even. I mean, we have the same... Hold on. It's the same loadout. Going into early game is pretty easy because all they do is send out some of the weaker units, but we do have to handle a Titan later. But that wasn't too hard considering we had enough time to set up a good backline. After this, I upgrade my Titan Battler, leaving me with immense wealth. We move on to the second to last stage called Impending Doom. And it's pretty easy. I mean, there's a double Titan in late game, but it goes down easy due to the time to build up our backline. Now on to the final level of Chapter 1. We have Doomspire Brick Battle. This is a rough fight. The boss here is Doombringer, basically just a giant hammer battler. But he's made even worse by his 2 special abilities that he has. Every 2 successful hits, he'll use one of these abilities. He switches between doing a massive double damage swing with massive splash damage, may I add, He's able to basically tear through our backups with that. And his other ability is to give defense to all his backups, making them even harder to kill. I use Bomb Battler to clear the early game, and able to set up a few things to stall Doombringer himself. After a while, I get my max economy, and start sending pretty much everything out. But once I reach max limit, I start only sending out Titan and Sword, because we don't want to only have backliners, otherwise all of them are going to die. After a while, I made it to his second phase. In said phase, he does a massive slam, pretty much killing everything on the board and heavily weakening our base. And he goes berserk, losing his armor but attacking so much quicker. And because I had a Titan just die, I wasn't to deal with this and inevitably died. I decided to do a small grind and get back to it, so I did a few rounds of Ultimate Paintball. And despite that, the next run goes about the same. After that, I do even more grinding, where I get this run. Actually ended up killing him, but was shortly ended due to a Titan because Doombringer had weakened my base so much. That was annoying. Next run, I actually beat him though and finally completed Chapter 1. And now we can move on to Chapter 2. Oh yeah, we're just getting started here. Chapter 2 expects you to be using card units and specials, so let's see how this goes. The first levels are about as you expect, a warm-up. Get it? Anyways, you're introduced to red units, who at half HP have a small explosion and get a damage buff. But to balance this out, some units do extra damage to them and take less in return. And guess who our only anti-red unit is? It's Sword! Which, yeah, it's actually a really good thing because we're able to speedrun these levels. Enemy units introduced here are Firebrand, Sword Battler but has fire damage at a slower fire rate. Arc, who slow fire rate but hits 3 guys with Pierce. And Gallant, a heavy defense unit that can't attack. Throw them together at level 5, but we beat them pretty easily. And now we have to deal with pirate units. Woohoo! Sailor, Bucket Tiger, and Armed Cannoneer are the units. Sailor's Sword Battler, but he steals our money. Bucket Tiger can turn one of our guys into our normal battler. Fun. And Armed Cannoneer does ranged knockback damage with splash damage if we're far enough away from him. All these come together with a boss at level 10, which roughs us off real bad. We just don't have enough eco to fight back, especially with Sailor Battler stealing all our money. So we end up losing. I go play 2-star Chapter 1 up until Paint Master, and come back with higher eco. We managed to stand a chance, though it is rough. The boss Redbeard has massive splash damage AoE, and can heal once he's below half. Really, it's about hitting the stack of backliners with your cannon, because then you can actually make a push up to the boss. Once we can do that, we can finally claim victory on this first boss of Chapter 2. Next set of levels introduces a bunch of musical enemies. These 3 buff fire rate, damage, and range, respectively, in an area around them for a short duration. That's about all to them. There's an annoying level thrown in there afterward, where they just aggro us with a bunch of bombs. Those levels are never fun. then take way too long to kill super buff Titans, basically just buffing Titans with all 3 buffers. Like, it really should not have taken that long. The next few levels aren't anything much, though. Offense defense was fun, though, because we get to actually get used to a bomb battler due to them only having 1 attacking unit that takes 3 or 4 shots to kill our bomb. What level wasn't fun is level 20, being Disco Party. The boss, DJ Radical, is so annoying. I was in the fight with him for 10 whole minutes and didn't hit him once. Basically, he has a full map AoE attack that stuns all your units. And they also have a cannon that has AoE pushback stun. I eventually died from his chip damage killing my base. And I decided to go up to level 15 of 2-Star Chapter 1. Came back, lost again, went up to Jet Rock of 2-Star Chapter 1 with 3 new alt units now. Soccer Battler, Crockett Battler, and Telemon Battler. Soccer is Baller's alt. Higher range and more knockback, but less damage. This is better because he stays out of range of most enemies' AoE. And extra knockback is really nice. Crockett is a slower fire rate than Rocket, but he has way higher damage and higher AoE. Overall better for that AoE. Telemon is Titan, but he takes an extra 4 seconds between attacks to eat, healing him. This makes him better for tanking hits. With these 3, DJ Radical was so much easier. We actually made it to him relatively quickly and triggered his second phase where, yeah, that happens. We go all out, and despite him pushing back to the base, we managed to defeat him and finally claim victory. That was so much harder than it needed to be. Now on to the last 10 stages. We start off with immediately being shown the power of Soccer Ball and Crockett. When level 21 has some issues, we can just abuse the cannon to tear apart their stack of backlines. The next level, we easily tear through the Titans, despite having this happen, which was just insulting. Then we're introduced to Spartan Battler, a melee unit that's tanky and will kick our units away when they're below half health. They're manageable for now, but level 25 houses Gargants, a big red enemy that has armor. Upon reaching half health, he loses said armor, but trades it for heavy damage and big AoE. Said AoE can hit our Crockett Battlers if it actually lands, so we need to use Soccer Battler to really take these guys down. It takes a while, but we eventually beat the level. The next 4 levels I lost the footage for, yeah, there wasn't too much interesting there anyways. But we finally made it to Turking. I expected to first try this boss considering we have really good damage output and Telemon on our side. And until phase 3 it looked like that. Early game was pretty easy and we had massive stack going. It was impressive how we killed his summons. But upon reaching phase 3, everything fell apart. Upon switching to phase 3, he does this attack, which kind of just destroys everything. So we have to set back up as quickly as possible, and he makes a major push between that. But eventually, we do fall at so close. So I go at it again. We were again very close, but it was not enough. I decided to level up Slinger because it's cheap to upgrade, and that bit more damage will be very helpful. And along with playing generally better, it gets us the win on the next run. We're very close, and I was worried that we would have some issues after killing Turking, but thankfully we killed the Gargant before Turking died, so we managed to have an easy push back to the base and got the W. And that's all for part 1. Next time we'll probably move on to chapter 3 and do some more star changes and do some more star stages. Shut up. And do some more starred stages on chapter 1 and 2. But that's all for now. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, be good. Burb out.